Today we celebrate Jamaica hero, Three-Fingered Jack, also known as Jack Mansong.
Three-Fingered Jack, also known as Jack Mansong, was an escaped slave who rose to become the leader of a band of runaway slaves in the colony of Jamaica in the late 1700s. Despite the treaties signed by the Jamaican Maroons with the British colonial authorities in 1739 and 1740, which effectively prevented runaway slaves from forming independent communities in the mountainous forests of Jamaica, communities of runaways continued to exist in the Blue Mountains. One of these communities was led by Jack, who formed it in the parish of St. Thomas in the east, and it was probably made up of descendants of a previous leader named Ancoma. Jack and his community were a thorn in the side of the colonial authorities and planter society, causing significant trouble for the colonial authorities. Jack was known for his cunning and bravery, and he and his band of Maroons were feared by the colonial authorities, who offered rewards for Jack's capture or death. In 1781, Jack's reign came to an end when he was killed by a party of Maroons led by Bernard Nalty, the white superintendent of Scots Hall. Several of Jack's lieutenants were tried and sentenced to death at the court in Yallas, but other members of Jack's community continued to lead the community in the years that followed his death. The assembly offered rewards for the apprehension or killing of two of Jack's deputies, Dagger and Tony. In 1792, Dagger was captured by the colonial militia, sentenced to be resold into slavery in the Spanish colonies, but Tony and the rest of Jack's community continued to live and thrive in the Blue Mountains. One of the Maroons who killed Jack, John Reeder, was granted a pension by the Jamaican Assembly in 1798 when he petitioned for it, and Little Quaco, also known as William Carmichael Cockburn, received a pension after Reeder's death in 1816. Jack remains a figure of resistance and defiance in Jamaican history, celebrated for his bravery and cunning, and remembered as a symbol of the struggle against slavery and oppression. In conclusion, Three-Fingered Jack was a leader of a band of runaway slaves who formed a community in the Blue Mountains, defying the British colonial authorities and the Jamaican Planter Society. Jack and his community were feared and respected by the colonial authorities, and Jack's death marked the end of his leadership, but his legacy lived on through the continued existence of his community in the Blue Mountains. Jack remains an important figure in Jamaican history, remembered as a symbol of resistance and defiance against slavery and oppression.
And now for a sonnet to remember the great hero. Three-Fingered Jack, the leader of a band, a leader of Jamaica's runaway slaves. His life in the mountains, a life so grand, amidst the lush forests where freedom waves. A symbol of hope for the oppressed masses. A thief who took from the wealthy's wealth. His Maroon community, a sanctuary in classes. Living free where forests and mountains stealth. Jack Mansong, a man of fearless might. His legend lies on in tales untold. With 3 fingers raised, he took up the fight against the cruel colonial rule so bold. His death a mystery, a tale untold. But his spirit lives on in the stories of old. That's all for now, and good night.